I want to call the meeting to order for the Business Finance Justice Committee. Time now is 5 p.m. At this time, we'd like to ask Representative Golden to give us a invocation, please.
Let us pray. Lord, we just come to you today and thank you for such a blessed day for all of us to convene here to do the business of the Muskogee Creek Nation. We ask that you help us to open our hearts and open our minds to do the best we can do today. And for those who are sick and shut in and can't be here, or have loved ones who can't make it, we ask for special prayers for them, Lord. We want everybody to support and love each other because we need to do that. Thank you with all these things I say in Jesus' name. Amen.
At this time, we'll have roll call by Legislative Clerk April Lindsay.
Jody Barnett.
Present.
Andrew Golden.
Present.
Patrick Freeman.
Here.
Nelson Harjo.
Here.
Robert Huft.
Present.
Chairman, you got 5 present and 0 absent.
We have 5 present and 0 absent. Constitute a quorum. Any business conducted will be official. Moving on down the agenda is the approval of minutes of January 18th, 2024.
I'm going to make a motion to approve with any necessary changes.
Motion been made by Representative Barnett to approve. Here a second.
Second.
By Representative Harjo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none. Minutes been approved. Now down to order of business is first NCR 24-002. A resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation National Council selecting Kevin Agee to the Board of Directors of the Muskogee Nation Gaming Enterprise, sponsored by Robert Huft.
Motion for a due pass.
Motion made to pass. Do we hear a second?
Second.
Floor is open for discussion. Any discussion?
Chairman?
Yes.
Yes, I think we have a lot of nominations this evening, and we know that they need to be, deferred to the interview set part of the process. So I just make a motion that we defer all nominations this evening to our interview process. Thank you.
Are you asking to defer this one here, or are you asking to defer all questions?
Defer all questions for the interview process.
Okay. There's a motion to defer all questions to interview for the until planning session. Do we hear a second on that?
I second.
Nelson Harjo seconded it.
Chairman, that actually would be outside the rules of procedure. Any legislation that is on the table is up for discussion.
That is true.
I don't know. 30 minutes.
Did you hear that?
What? This is the other stuff. Stuff at home.
Let's talk, like, roll call vote on that we won't. Okay, roll call vote. And if you vote yes, you're saying to defer all questions. If you vote no, you're saying no. You two have. Roll call. This is to defer all questions till.
Jody Barnett.
No.
Andrew Golden.
No.
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Nelson Harjo.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 2 in favor and 2 against. So it's a tie vote, so the chairman gets to vote.
Chairman votes no.
Got 2 in favor and 3 against. The motion.
Okay, so roll call vote on the Kevin Angie's nomination. Roll call. Oh, I'll ask for a discussion.
Andrew Golden.
Yes.
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Nelson Harjo.
Yes.
Jody Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, none against. That's been approved. Kevin, we need for you to be at the pre-agenda on Saturday, February 24th at 9 a.m. Oh, sorry, Kevin, it's planning session.
So the
Planning session on Tuesday is 20th, at 6:30.
No, we're doing half and half because
The planning session on Tuesday's been moved to 5 PM.
5 p.m. on Tuesday. Moving on down the agenda, next item is TR 24-002, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation authorizing the principal chief to execute an engagement letter for legal services between Muskogee Creek Nation Tax Commission and Pipestone Law, PC.
Motion for due pass.
Motion to pass by Senator Representative Golden. Here a second?
Second.
Made by Representative Barnett. The floor is open for discussion.
Mr. Chair, whenever this came to the last committee, Ms. Mishunka was not available because of issue. And then I had gotten a couple of questions regarding the, I guess, the letter. It's an agreement, it's not a contract, and there's not a cost or a scope of work. And so Ms. Mishunka
Yes, sir.
is here, maybe she can answer the question.
Come down. Mary.
I don't know. That's what he turned in. So do you want me to have him do a contract to send in first? Because I can do that.
The question was, why do we just have an agreement without not a contract? He wrote it.
Right.
And there's not a scope of work, and it doesn't tell us how much it's gonna cost.
Okay.
So it's kind of open-ended,
Okay.
so.
I'll have him submit a full contract and then bring it back. If that's what you need.
Okay, we'll postpone it till the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'll
get
have
a
him do
timeframe
that.
on it too.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Motion
All right.
made to postpone to our next meeting.
Second.
Made by Representative Barnett. Roll call.
Sandra Golden,
Yes,
Patrick Freeman,
Yes.
Nelson Harjo,
Yes.
Jody Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor and 0 against. That motion passed. We'll postpone until March meeting.
Chairman, can we also make sure and request that Ms. Mishunka forward that to the AG's office and they clear it and send it over by the natural progression?
On the agenda is TR 24-017, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation confirming the nomination of Richard LeBlanc for an appointment to the Supreme Court of the Muskogee Creek Nation.
Chairman, motion to adopt, do pass.
Made to pass
Second.
by Representative Barnett. The floor is open for discussion. Anybody have any questions or discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Sandra Golden,
Yes,
Patrick Freeman, Nelson Harjo,
Yes.
Jody Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, none against. That motion has been approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members.
Hello? Yes, Mr. LeBlanc. We ask you to be here at the pre-agenda on Saturday, the 24th at 9 a.m.
I will be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is TR 24-018, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation confirming the nomination of Andrew Adams III for appointment to the Supreme Court of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Do I hear a motion?
motion for a due pass.
Made to pass by Representative Golden.
Second.
And Barnett, second it. The floor is open for discussion. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman. Nelson Harjo,
Yes.
Jody Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
And 4 in favor, none against, that motion's been approved. He will also, and you also need to be at the pre-agenda on Saturday the 24th at 9 a.m.
Yes, sir. I'll be there and Mado to the committee for your vote.
Okay, thank you. Mado.
Thank you, Mado.
Moving on down the agenda. Order of business TR 24-019. A tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation authorizing the principal chief to submit a small, rural, and tribal body worn camera program grant application for the benefit of the Muskogee Creek Nation Lighthorse Police Department. Your motion?
Yes, Chairman, I make a motion for pass.
Motion made by Dupass by Representative Nelson. Second by Representative Patrick Freeman. Floor is open for discussion.
Question? Yes, I'd like to know if this application process has been discussed with the Light Horse Commission.
Chair, if chief or second chief
Yeah, Chief,
is there,
yes, they are. They're coming down now.
okay, thank you.
It's Jay. To answer your question, no, it was not presented to him.
The grant application that you're proposing has not been discussed with the Light Horse Commission.
Correct. For the body worn cameras, correct.
So how does it fit into the strategic plan for the Light Horse?
Well, if you, in the verbiage in Title 50, there's a gray area between me and the commission when we had some discussion. It says that I can present grants or I'm in charge of grants as far as they're presented. So that we were unsure as the verbiage on the Title 50 as it's worded in there. Neither one of us ever got a definite answer, so I just proceeded on.
I just have a concern that if we have a disconnect with the Light Horse and the commission, that we're not working together, and somehow or another, we need to pull it together so that we know how all this fits together. And also, I understand that there's questions about the budget, because if it doesn't go through and they don't know about it, then how do they know when it comes to budget time how all this is going to go forward?
Understood. But again, we've not had a meeting since October, so I don't have an answer.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Nelson Harjo,
Yes.
Jody Barnett,
Yes.
Sandra Golden,
No?
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 3 in favor and 1 against.
3 in favor, 1 against. Motion's been approved. Next on the agenda is TR 24-020. A tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation confirming the nomination of Shane Hullaby to serve as tribal administrator of the Muskogee Creek Nation.
Motion to pass.
Motion made to pass by Representative Barnett. Here a second. Made by Representative Freeman. Any questions? Floor is open for discussion.
Chairman, thank you. Mr. Hullaby, can you here at the podium, please? For the record, will you state your name and position?
My name's Shane Holby, the tribal administrator of the Muskogee Creek Nation.
I have 2 questions for you. First question is, what are some of the goals that you would like to achieve if confirmed, over the next 4 years?
I want to continue building on the career development for our employees. We're continuing that. We found that we weren't utilizing that program enough. We have a lot of employees and citizens around that aren't ready for college or don't want to go to college, but they're good at trades. And I think we need to invest in those people too, because even the lowest paying people need to make a living. So far in facilities, I've got the guys training. We're saving $160,000 a year on lawn maintenance by doing the sprays ourselves. With that, I increase their salaries. With my IT department, I have 31 people that are certified in security all the way down to the tech side. I'm continuing that, and with that we need to keep them here, so we're going to have to pay them. And that I advocate for all employees to get salary increases. And if there's issues with managers or directors, I listen to them. And if they tell me not to say anything, it's in confidence. I will not tell chief or anybody. They know that. All confidential. And the first course is HR. We've rebuilt the HR program. It's stronger, and we got a lot of trust there now.
Thank you. I appreciate your answer. I have one more question for you.
Yep.
Before I was on council, had a citizen call me concerned that you did not advocate for them in their retention of their employment here. Can you just speak to how you feel you've done as far as keeping Creek citizens employed here, and have you done everything to the fullest extent you can to keep Creek citizens?
Right now, our number on the Creek citizens we have working for us is higher than anything we've had in the past. I promote the hiring of Creek people, and when there is advocating for them, like I said, if they tell me not to say anything to their supervisors or anything, I won't say anything. I gave them a word, and when it comes to that point, if a discipline comes up or something like that, and you're given a plan of improvement and you fail to follow that, I can go back one more time and try to get an additional plan of improvement. But if that fails, I've did all I can.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
What is the job description of the tribal administrator?
What is the job description? I oversee all the departments of the Muskogee Creek Nation to help guide. I oversee HR, GSA, fleet, facilities, and IT. My job is to make sure that our employees are treated fairly, IT is secure, and I maintain all the vehicles and properties of the nation.
Those three departments.
There's 5 departments. Well, there's GSA, fleet, facilities, IT, and HR.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Jody Barnett,
Yes.
Sandra Golden,
No?
Patrick Freeman, Nelson Harjo.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 3 in favor and 1 against.
Got 3 in favor, 1 against, and motion to pass. Be at the planning session at 5. Next on the agenda is TR 24-021, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation confirming the nomination of Zachary Harjo to serve as the Secretary of the Nation for the Muskogee Creek Nation. Motion?
Motion for a due pass.
Motion made, due pass by Representative Golden. Freeman. The floor is open for discussion. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman, Nelson Harjo,
Yes.
Jody Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
And 4 in favor, none against. That motion's been approved. Planning session at 5. Next on the agenda is TR 24-022, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation nominating, confirming the nation nomination of Mary McSickashay as the tax commissioner of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Your motion?
Yes, Chair, I'd like to make a motion to pass.
Motion may be due pass by Representative Harjo. Here a second. Second by Representative Barnett. The floor is open for discussion. Any discussion? Yes, go ahead.
Ms. Mashankashay, can you
Where's Mary?
appear at the podium, please? What are some of the goals that you wish to accomplish with your agreement with Pipestem Law if approved?
Well, our goals in the next administration is to continue to grow the department. We're looking at avenues of revenue through our tax department, through the tax side. In the last administration, we grew from one just tax commission to now we have 3 divisions. We went from 7 employees to 25. So we want to continue that growth. But what we haven't done is really focus on the taxation area of it. We grew in motor vehicle. We brought in VITA, and we're looking at income tax to generate revenue for the nation and to be able to do taxes for our employees and eventually citizens. But we really look forward to growing on the taxation side and working on our code and growing it.
Okay. Thank you for your response. In your recent restructure, how do you justify laying off qualified creeks and not offering them employment in the new restructure?
What they did was under the when they restructured, is it opened up for other people to apply, and I wasn't a part of the hiring process I'm trying to stay out of the hiring process of it. We have a deputy who's looking at who does all the hiring, but the directors I did. And so we had a team and we all got together. There was another qualified candidate who was also Creek. And I don't want to really talk about personnel here, but that's who was chosen.
Your department grew from 7 to 25 and there were no jobs for the people that were laid off.
Well, there were. There was only one, I believe, in the process.
So out of
There was only one other, and they were hired. So there was only one
I just want to
under the
clarify.
reconstruction.
Okay, so I want to clarify, out of 18 new positions,
Mm-hmm.
did not find room for 2 people who were already employed with you.
Well, that was through the growth process. It wasn't all, just for that one position.
Thank you.
You're
Any other
welcome.
questions? Hearing no other questions, we'll have roll call vote, please.
Nelson Harjo, Jody Barnett,
Yes.
Sandra Golden, Patrick Freeman, Nelson Harjo,
Got 3 in
Chairman.
favor, none against. Motion is approved. Mary, you have the planning session at 5:30. Next on the agenda is TR 24-023, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation confirming the nomination of Jeffrey Five to serve as the Chief of Staff of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Is there a motion?
Motion for due pass.
Ready to pass? Second. Made. Floor is open for discussion. Discussion? All right.
Five, I just have one question. What is the job description for the chief of staff?
Essentially, the chief of staff is over the entire cabinet, the performance of the cabinet, and serves as a technical and strategic advisor, counsel, if you will, to the chief. There's a distinction between chief of staff and tribal administrator. In a nutshell, that's the distinctions.
No other discussion, roll call vote, please.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman,
Yes.
Nelson Harjo,
Yeah.
Jody Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, none against, that motion is approved. Planning session. Next on agenda is TR 24-024, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation confirming the nomination of Guy Parker to serve as the Secretary of Commerce for the Muskogee Creek Nation.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone indefinitely. I was told that Mr. Guy Barker is no longer with us. Taking another job.
Roll call vote. I'm sorry.
Second.
Thank you. Now that the motion's been made and seconded, we can open up for discussion. Yes? Okay. Chief Hill, would you like to address that, please?
Thank you, Representative Barnett. Yes, after we had submitted, he was given another offer to go work for someone else, but he will stay on till, if we could find someone or someone is acting, but he'll stay and help Muskogee Creek Nation. He sees the opportunity and growth, so he don't want to leave us high and dry, so to speak.
One more question. So maybe not for Chief Hill, but maybe for Kyle or Jerry. I just want to know the legality of postponing that. My understanding was that we could not postpone or delay Chief's nominations. Maybe he wants to withdraw the nomination between now and the general session?
We can do that, yes. It was too late to pull the legislation when it went to y'all, so we found out the same day. So yes, if you want to just go ahead and go through the process, do that.
I want to make sure we're doing the right thing.
We can. But Mr. Barker could withdraw his name at the same time, too.
Maybe he could be invited to do that. I know, correct, yes. Mr. Barker, we invite you to withdraw your name from nomination if you would like.
Yes, hello, council.
Yes, we're asking if you want to withdraw your name for consideration.
Yes, yes. I would like to formally withdraw my name and would no longer seek confirmation.
Okay, thank you.
Motion do pass. Right? We still motion and
Yeah,
we
yes,
vote
yes,
it and we
yes.
approve it, and then later you do the paperwork for his withdrawal, correct?
He withdrew his name, so
Yes.
we can go in. Actually, we withdrew it, so we can actually postpone the definite.
Okay, so now that's legal to postpone it indefinitely. Just making
He
sure.
withdrew his name, so that's on indefinitely.
Thank you, sir.
The motion is to be postponed indefinitely.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman, Nelson Harjo, Jody Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor
4
and
in favor, none against, that's been approved. Next on agenda is TR 24-025, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation confirming the nomination of Patricia Killen as the Controller and Secretary of the Territory for the Muskogee Creek Nation.
Motion do pass.
Motion made to pass. Do I hear a second? Made. The floor is open for discussion.
Chairman. Tricia, will you join us at the podium? Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
I have one question for you. During the campaign process, it was a hot topic, delayed audits and late audits. Can you speak to that process of how they got late? And my understanding is you've only been in the controller position for about 1.5 years, so you inherited this problem of the late audits?
Yes, I did. beginning probably in 2019, that audit was behind. And then the 2020 audit was behind. And when I came in the office in May of 2022, that was my first thing, priority to do was to make sure the FY20 audit was completed. So in that process, with that, it just kind of has delayed, the next audit. So we are right now in the process of completing the 22 audit. And just as soon as we're completed with that, we'll go right on into 23. So in 23, we'll be due in June. So we hope to be back on track with that audit.
Wonderful. So you completed 2 audits, you're almost completed with the 3rd,
Yes.
and you're getting ready to start the 4th in just
Yes.
18 months.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for your hard work.
Thank you.
Other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Jody Barnett,
Yes.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman, Nelson Harjo.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, none against, that's been approved. Next on the agenda is TR 24-026, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation confirming the nomination of Geraldine Jerry Wisner to serve as the Attorney General of the Muskogee Creek Nation.
Motion do pass.
Motion made, do pass. Here a second. Do I have a second?
Go to the floor.
We need a second.
I'll second it.
Made. The floor open for discussion.
Eisner, would you join us at the podium, please?
Good afternoon.
Good evening, Ms. Weisner. I just have a couple of questions really quickly. First question would be, would you think it's representing the Creek people in a good way to intimidate a judge?
I think that, let me understand is it a good way to represent the Creek people to intimidate a judge?
Yes, ma'am.
I would not say that that is a good way to do so. I would also follow it up on asking, in what manner would one intimidate a judge, or how did that happen? And I'm also cautious to say anything further, as that may be part of appealing litigation.
Okay, note, so noted. My second question is, if someone has 5 DUIs, do you think that person should face consequences and possibly jail time?
I would first ask in what jurisdiction, because jurisdictional laws will look at those differently, say from the state of Oklahoma as well as the Muskogee Creek Nation. There are issues as to whether it is simply an arrest or a conviction, because those are 2 different ways to look at those as well. So I would take all of those things into consideration in order to appropriately answer the question.
Okay.
And then also, I'm sorry, there are other mitigating factors. It could be the time from one arrest or conviction between all of them would be another issue for consideration.
Just to clarify, if someone had 3 previous DUIs in state court and was convicted of all 3, came to tribal court and got 2 DUIs within a year, do you think that person should face jail time?
Again, I would be cautious because I think that is closely related to a matter that is, if not under appeal, is being reviewed. But I think all of those things would be given consideration as appropriate, and when approaching the judge to make sure that those things are enforced.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your answers.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Jody Barnett,
Yes.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman, Nelson Harjo, Chairman, you got 2 in favor and 1 against.
Two in favor, 1 against. That's motion been approved. We're on to the next agenda item, TR 24-029, a tribal resolution of the Muskogee Creek Nation approving and authorizing the MNGE Board of Directors to execute the construction management agreement with Crosstown Construction Company.
Motion for a due pass.
Pass here a second.
Second. Motion to go into executive session.
Motion been made to go to executive second. Here a second. Made. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. We are in executive session. Who do you want to stay?
Council, E, Chris, anybody else you want? Chief and second chief? Okay.
We are back in session now. Motion was for a due pass on TR 24-029. Roll call vote, please.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman,
Yes.
Nelson Harjo,
Yes.
Jody Barnett.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
And 4 in favor, none against. That motion has been approved. Next on the agenda is NCA 24-006, a law of the Muskogee Creek Nation amending MCENCA Title 50, Section 1-107, entitled Commission Composition.
Motion for a due pass.
Motion was made to pass. Here a second. Made. The floor is open for discussion now.
Mr. Chairman, there is somebody on the Zoom from the Light Horse Commission, and the last time I postponed this was to allow them to tell us why we should go ahead and approve this or not. And I think Denise was on here a minute ago.
I'm on here. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. You want to have her?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Denise, we can hear you. Let her talk.
No.
I'll
If you-
let
if you want to.
Denise Henry, you explain why we have this amendment.
Sure, I appreciate that. We had originally put it on just because we were unable to work. We have not had a full commission since Chief of Staff Fife was on there. That's the last time we had 5 on in the very beginning. And I know that Chief Hill has worked hard to try to get some people on, and we did have a great commissioner with William Wind, and we haven't heard from him. He hasn't responded to our meetings or our calls or texts. We're not sure why. We've reached out by text and telephone. And so one of the things we was trying to alleviate is that if Chief could not find someone qualified within 60 days, it could be passed to the current commissioners, which would be myself and Commissioner Freeman, to pick. We do have 2 available people in the pool that are qualified Creek citizens, but they have not been picked. I assume that they still want the position, but we would just like to be able to do business because our hands are kind of tied without having, a full quorum.
And the other part of that was that it required in the original legislation that a full citizen be eligible. But we changed it, or the commission changed it to an enrolled member of the, it says a citizen of the Creek Nation or an enrolled member of a federally recognized tribe. So that opens it up. If you can't find a qualified Creek person, doesn't have to be a full citizen, comes first. And then after that, the second one would be from a federally recognized drive. That would that open the panel for more people that are qualified. So we should be able to we already have one person that's been put on here recently. I think his name is Jasper Bruner. So you have at
Yes.
least 3 people now. But should this ever happen again, we have it in our policy, we have it in our law now that we change this. So if there becomes another time when we can't find someone and the time is over 60 days. So all this does is just help us to be able to continue business with the Light Horse Commission. And then the Light Horse then will have somebody to go to make sure that we have a cohesive group to take care of our law enforcement for the Creek Nation. Did you have anything else to add, Ms. Henry?
Yes, the other thing is, yes, I did make contact with Mr. Bruner, very well qualified. We're excited to have him. We do have a meeting set up for next week, but all of our meetings will have to be by Zoom since he is out of Washington. He's not here. And so we still did want this in place so that we could have a full commission. We cannot go into executive session without being able to meet in person. And so that was the other reason that we wanted it. We are excited to have Mr. Bruner on, and I think he's excited to work too. But again, he will only be here a couple times a year. I think he's looking at coming in April, but we wouldn't want to be able to, we wouldn't want to wait that long before meetings. We can do a lot by Zoom, but there are many things that we have to do in executive session that we want to be able to do. And so we would like to have a full commission of 5, and we have to have 4 to be able to vote on our 5th. And we haven't been able to have that since the beginning.
Thank you. Anything else?
Well, I was just going to say we did this before, and then chief and second chief had some recommendations, and we put those in here. But if you have anything you want to add, or
Second chief, you have anything you want to say?
I'll pull the magic act. Just really a question. According to the legislation, the amendment, doesn't really say for certain if the commission's pick, will that be confirmed by council or not. According to legislation, it just says that it will be picked by the commission, and then that's it. And so that's just one question I had. And then 2, so like, for instance, if the executive branch cannot find 2, and all of a sudden we have one that comes open, but they're filled, then we don't get another pick. I mean, if the commission already picks 2, we're just out of it, or what? So how are we going to do this? Is the commission picking the executive branch's picks, and that's it? Is that how it's designed? Because the way it's reading, that's kind of what it's saying, is that the commission is picking the executive branch's picks because there's no confirmation, and that's it. Whereas the national council's picks have to go before confirmation, right? So that's what I'm reading from this amendment.
I could speak. I think our intent was, no, we absolutely want the
Denise,
executive
Denise.
branch.
Denise, I want the
Denise,
council to
hang on, Denise.
respond.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Okay,
apologize.
yes, thank you.
okay.
Chair,
Denise said that she could answer this, so I'll let her answer. It was discussed in the commission. Denise?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Representative. We absolutely don't want to pick the executive branch. We just meant we went a year without having 2 from the executive branch that are needed. And so we are saying only if they can't find somebody to pick within 60 days, could we have an opportunity to pick someone in? We would do it also with the approval of the executive and the national council. We're not looking to pick anybody that they don't want.
Are you saying that this legislation is designed to help the executive branch pick 2?
It is to help the process where the commission won't be hamstrung in conducting business. So if we need to amend this to put say, allow after if no person is picked within 60 days and they choose somebody, then it comes before the administration and the National Council to be approved. If that's what the administration wants, we can do that.
I think there should be some language in there regarding this. And also, from conversations we've had, I don't think it's advisable for just anybody to be on this commission, meaning they just have to be of another tribe, a citizen of another tribe. I think it should stay that they have to be Muskogee Creek because it's our commission, it's our people, it's our rules, and I don't care to have anybody else making those types of decisions.
Sir, this was changed.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Just so I have clarity, the ball on this started probably last year, because I know it was on last month's agenda. So chief and second chief had input in drafting this legislation, or at least had input on it, not in drafting it, because you've introduced it. Okay. And the Light Horse Department themselves, how do they feel about this? Yes. No. The Light Horse Department, how do they feel about this?
Haven't had a meeting. So earlier, the Light Horse chief said they haven't been to a meeting since October because they haven't been able to. No quorum.
Ma'am, my question is, did you, as ma'am, please don't interrupt me. My question is, did you, as the person introducing this legislation and sponsoring this legislation, sit down and have a discussion with the Light Horse chief and his department about this legislation?
No, I did not.
Thank you, ma'am. So it does concern me that there's no communication between the department that this is going to be affecting. This legislation concerns me because it leaves the people out of the process. No other of our boards can just randomly pick people out of thin air and put them on a commission. That leaves the people out of the process. And this seems overtly aggressive to the administration because you're taking away one of their picks and you're forcing their hand when there may not be any qualified applicants. So, I mean, the whole reason we have a checks and balance, we have a legislature and we have an administration and we work together as much as we can, right? And so for those reasons, I cannot support this legislation.
And I agree with you. Like I said, I attend the commission meetings. I understood some of their frustrations, and this came out of their meetings. And if I remember correctly, the one of the Light Horse Police Chief persons was in that last meeting I went to, but it was before October. They were saying that it's very difficult for us to do business because we can't have a quorum. If somebody gets sick, if somebody can't make it to our meetings, we're out. And so my bringing this forward is because they asked me to, so that this would help them conduct business. And to me, this is a very important commission, like we have with the other boards, MNB, MNGE, all of those. This is very similar, except for this particular commission, it is very difficult to find qualified people that were full citizens with all of the experience and the knowledge that's required to be on this commission. So that's when we brought it up before. Input.
Just a minute, please.
They said, well, it would be better if we would go ahead and if we wouldn't make it full citizen, we would just say a citizen of the Muskogee Creek Nation and or an enrolled member of another tribe. So it doesn't say and, it says or. So if you can't find a citizen, then you would find somebody else. But that's very unlikely that it would happen. But we put that in there because someone said it would be better if we had that as another option, not to leave out our Creek citizens.
Yes, Representative Nelson.
You know, I'm sitting here listening to this discussion, and it appears to me that, as well thought out as they seem to think it is, it's not well thought out. And I have to agree with Second Chief, also I have to agree with Doty. But, you know, I think we kind of have to get down to the brass tacks of things, that maybe it's not the fact that we can't find somebody, and I'm just gonna say it for what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that they don't want to work with some people that sit there on the commission. And maybe that's our bigger issue. And so, but I think this particular legislation, I don't think it's good, because again, I feel the same way, that they're trying to force the hand of the executive branch. And, you know, the executive branch, when they're looking at things, they know what's happening here with this tribe, as well as the council. There's things that we know. And that's why they need to come before, you know, to be confirmed with us and everything. But for us to sit here and say other tribes, well, I think now all of a sudden we're speaking out of the scope of who we are, because there again, we're Muskogee Creek, and we have our traditions, we have our culture, we have our thoughts. And we send these people out there to the ceremonial grounds or different places, you know, they may not understand certain things if they're not schooled in those things. And so when we look at the commission, you know, the commission should know all these different things. But if they're not of our people, there's going to be a lot of things they don't know. And they don't really understand why we do some of the things that we do. I mean, that's why we got different names as tribes. That's why we celebrate different practices and all these things. And again, I think that, you know, a long time ago, just going back, and I'm going to use this as an example, you know, the Creek people, when there was a preacher, sometimes they'd sing for him while he was preaching, to encourage him to keep speaking the way he was. But then there were other times they would sing, and they just keep singing in order for him to get off stage, because he's done said enough. And so sometimes, I think sometimes there are things that have been said enough, and maybe that's what's happening at this particular point in time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Representative Harjo.
Last comment,
yes.
and then I'll call for the question. The intent, like I said from the beginning, was to make sure that we support the commission to do business for the Muskogee Creek Nation. It is very important to me that we have our Light Horse Commission, our Light Horse Department be the best that it can be, because we don't just serve the Muskogee Creek Nation. We serve all of the people that live on our reservation. And we want to say that we have the best, and we support them, and we do whatever we can to make it the best that there is. And that was the intent, to try to get what we need to do business, to make it the best. And right there, I just call for the question.
Question be called for.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman, Nelson Harjo,
No.
Jody Barnett.
No.
Chairman, you got 2 in favor and 2 against. There's a tie vote, so chairman gets to vote.
Chairman votes no.
Chairman, you got 2 in favor and 3 against.
Motion has failed. Next on the agenda is NCA 24-017, a law of the Muskogee Creek Nation amending NCA Title 36, Chapter 3, entitled Motor Vehicle Tax and License Code, providing certain motor vehicle registration discounts for elders and veterans. Motion.
Motion do pass.
Motion made, do pass. Here a second. Do I hear a second? Made.
Second.
Floor is open for discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Gouge, would you like to come and speak to your legislation?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I was at an event months ago, and I got approached by a citizen, an elderly person, like most council people do, and they asked me, well, they're a little upset, saying, I'm on a fixed income because I'm a senior citizen. Even though it may be a couple of dollars, I depend on every penny I get for utilities, for my vehicle, for food. I have grandkids who want an extra candy bar, or hamburger, or something. I count on my money, Leonard. Is there a way, and I want to represent my tribe, but I can't afford a tag from Creek Nation because it's cheaper going with the state. So he says, what can you do for a senior citizen who's proud of his tribe, wants to represent his tribe, but can't afford to be tagged by the tribe? I said, well, I'll bring that up with the tax commission, and then I started talking about veterans, brought it with the Veterans Affairs Office, and this is what they came up with, and I agreed to support that.
Any other questions?
So did the tag agency, they came up with these figures and how much it's going to impact their income?
That may be a question for the tax commission.
Harry, come down, please.
Can you ask the question again, please?
I just asked the amounts for the different people, it's lowering. So I just asked if it was discussed with the tag people, how much it's going to impact the income.
Yes, yes, it was. When we talked about this legislation and the possibility to do this and serve our citizens, our elders, and our veterans, we did look at the amount of money to see if it was going to affect the overall revenue of the department. The amount that it would affect us was minimal, and I think it's more important at this point to serve our citizens and honor our veterans and our elders with the free tag.
And what about the people that live out of bounds? Does it go for them too?
No, you have to have a tag with us, which means you have to live in the state of Oklahoma.
Any other questions? Any other questions from the other council members in the audience? Any questions from council members online? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Jody Barnett,
Yes.
Sandra Golden,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman, Nelson Harjo.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
We have 4 in favor, 0 against. That motion has been approved. Under item NCA 24-108, a law of the Muskogee Creek Nation amending NCA Title 6, Section 2-104, entitled Who May Marry.
Motion to pass.
Motion made to pass by Representative Barton. Do you have a second? Do I hear a second? Second been made by Representative Patrick Freeman. The floor is open for discussion.
Thank you. I've got a lot of calls this week over this legislation, and all of those calls have been incredibly respectful. And I appreciate that from all of the citizens who have called me this week. Most are in favor. I only got 2 calls that were against, and those conversations were very respectful as well, and I definitely appreciate that, and those citizens that called me. This legislation actually would bring us to the point where we are not infringing on our citizens' U.S. constitutional rights. So under the U.S. Constitution, same-sex couples can marry, and in our law, we forbid it. And our Constitution says that we cannot deny our Creek citizens their U.S. constitutional rights. And so that's why I sponsored this legislation. I would be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
Any questions? Comments?
Yes, thank you, Representative Barnett. One of the questions that I was asked is, why are you doing this?
Just explain that so that we can offer people's constitutional rights.
I also got a number of calls from churches and ceremonial grounds. They said to not pass this. Didn't see that it was something that we should be involved in. And something that is up to the persons themselves. One was a concern about confidentiality of this being brought out to everybody. And the other part is, well, if they do and the church doesn't want them, how do you make them do it? The church says they don't want same-sex marriage. They will not allow it in their church. How are you going to make them?
We would not. Okay, we would not.
Any other questions, comments?
Yes, Chair, it's Representative Harjo.
Yes.
You know, I received the email and it spoke in terms of three different entities toward the end. Talked about the state, it talked about the United States, and then it talked about the Muskogee Creek Nation. And yes, we all three have a constitution. And, you know, the state is made up of all kinds of people, and so is the U.S. But as a nation within a nation, we're only made up of Muskogee people. We have a tradition that we've always followed. We have a culture that we've always practiced. And we have all these different things that make us who we are. And when you look at our Constitution, it doesn't matter for us as individuals to what we do outside of our society. You know, if they're going to get married in the state, they can, or whatever state allows that to happen. But still, they still are able to enjoy being a citizen within our tribe and protected under our laws. They still have the ability to be recognized by getting their own citizenship card and all these different things. And so we'll forward all those things that have been said. Now, whether we approve of, you know, and our people are, and I've got all those calls too, that they didn't like this particular piece of legislation. But I think when we look at the word enjoy, you know, what is that speaking about? You know, if we're going to contextually use it, well, then that takes away from other areas. And so I think in context, when we pull those words out, we do a great injustice. And so I think when we look at the overall thing, as long as you're a Creek citizen, you're still protected by our law. You still are allowed to do the different things that we do as a people and as an individual. You know, we don't tell each other what kind of car to buy, but we still are able to do those things and enjoy those practices. We're not told who we can marry as far as individual people, you know, whoever they are, but we still enjoy these things. And so here within our people, as a nation within a nation, I think we're all that we have right now. We've got a big fight on our hand of other people trying to come in. And this makes it even more difficult now because, you know, it would make a fight that would happen internally. And we've got enough to deal with right now on a bigger scope than to deal with this particular issue. And so, unfortunately, this will be something that I want to support. Thank you, Chair.
Representative Osborne.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Committee. I have received more calls on this legislation than any other legislation since my tenure as a National Council representative. When I seen the legislation and came across the email, I decided to ask my community at their next meeting. And at the meeting, I explained the bill, and then I gave each member a slip of paper and asked them to write yes or no. Yes being if they wanted me to support the bill, or no if they wanted me to vote no. Out of 25 community members in attendance, all voted no, except 2. Most, if not all of us here, were brought up in our traditional churches, and most still attend. And I realize times have changed. During my campaign for this position the first time, I was specifically asked if I supported same-sex marriages. The answer was no at that time, and my answer is the same, no. And as Representative Harjo stated, should a same-sex couple want to marry, they have the option to marry within the state of Oklahoma. I would ask the committee to consider who we are as a people and our culture when casting your vote. If this bill passes through the committee, I cannot and will not support this bill when it comes before the full council. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Jody Barnett,
Yes.
Sandra Golden,
No.
Patrick Freeman. Nelson Harjo.
No.
Chairman, you got 1 in favor and 3 against.
1 in favor, 3 against. That motion's failed. Now down to referred legislation. We have one piece of legislation, NCA 24-1016. Funding source.
It will be interest on permanent fund.
Current fund. Your motion to approve the funding source? All, second? All in favor, say aye. I'm sorry, roll call vote.
Patrick Freeman. Nelson Harjo.
Yes.
Jody Barnett.
Yes.
Sandra Golden.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, none against. That's been approved. Down to other business. MNGE. Motion made to go into executive session. Here a second.
Second.
Motion made. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion's have it.
Aye.
We're in executive session now.